Let's start with the rapist. The rape of the 10-year-old girl that the president was speaking about when he was talking about the dangers of Roe versus Wade. He told a story about a 10-year-old girl in Ohio that had to cross state lines into Indiana to be able to get an abortion after she was raped. Now, that story didn't sit right with people because there were no names involved, and I'm not talking about the name of the 10-year-old. No, there was only one anonymous source. And so people started, especially the people at PJ Media, started asking the questions, well, wait a minute. We need more than one source. And so they went for criminal records. They wanted to see if a rapist had been charged in the state of Ohio raping a 10-year-old girl. Nope. No record of it. Okay, so we go to police, then we go to the state, and in fact, the state of Ohio, the attorney general says, I don't know anything about this. This would be a very big thing if there was a rapist of a 10-year-old girl. I don't know anything about it. So there had been no charges filed, nothing. Nothing. Well, we find out now that probably the reason nothing was done is because the rapist is an illegal alien. His name is Gersten Fuentes. He was arrested after police say he confessed to raping a child on multiple occasions. He's been charged now with rape, and at first, the Columbus Dispatch said, yeah, he might be a legal alien. Yeah, he is an illegal alien. He was in the U.S. unlawfully. You know, he had been caught. And they said, hey, you're not supposed to be here. And he's like, what? Me no speak English. And they said, well, here's a paper. You've got to report back and check in with us because we're going to. And he said, oh, I speak that English. Sure, I'll get in touch with you. Wink, wink, nod, nod. He obviously didn't. So what happened? Apparently, this guy was working either near or, at the child's house. We don't know all of the details yet. But here's what we do know. According to an Indianapolis obstetrician gynecologist, she said she had spoken to a child abuse doctor in Ohio in scant detail. So this gynecologist obstetrician meets with this girl. Now, here's the real problem. You have to file a report. If you're a doctor and you have a rape, especially of a child, you have to report it to the state. This doctor that seems to be the source of this story, this doctor didn't report it. Now, the state law says that could have an abortion. So why did this activist send this 10-year-old across state lines? Now, it's not only Ohio that is looking into that. It is also Indiana. Indiana is now looking into this doctor and wondering why this doctor did send the child to Indiana and not inform the police. Well, we find out now that the doctor is an abortion activist. Did this doctor not report this rape to a child and send this child unnecessarily across state lines just to make the point and have the story that the president could give? We don't have all of the details yet, but believe me, they will come out. You're probably not going to see this story in mainstream media. They reported on the rape of the 10-year-old over and over and over and over again. But now that we know it's an illegal alien, Now we know the doctor is an activist. Now we know that the doctor didn't report the rape. We know that the doctor is an abortion activist. I doubt you're going to be hearing much about this story, at least with the mainstream media. Thanks to Megan Fox at PJ Media, she's the one who really was relentless on this and broke this story. So we're trying to get her on. I think she's going to be on with us. Do we know? About 15, 20 minutes? Yeah, so she'll be on with us in about 15 minutes. She'll give you the whole story. This little girl, by the way, when the police finally found out about this rape, no thanks to the doctor, once they finally found out about this rape, they went in and arrested the guy. Let's see if I can find this. She'll tell you this story. This police department report, blah, blah, blah. The perpetrator may have actually been living with or at least near the victim until his arrest. We don't know for sure, but the scene of the crime was Fuentes' apartment, and his lawyer told the judge at a hearing on Wednesday that Fuentes had an address where he could live that was not the same location as the 10-year-old. Note the use of the word could. The suspect could live separate from the victims. Okay, so wait a minute. Was the 10-year-old child living in the same house with the rapist? And how long was that going on after she got her abortion? Was she going back to the rapist? This is, by the way, one other thing on the doctor. HIPAA. She didn't report it. She instead reported it to the press. She's now also being investigated in Ohio for a violation of HIPAA. A 10-year-old. And tell me these people care.
Yeah, this douchebag is 27, by the way. 27 years old. Shouldn't be in the country at all. And people will say, well, there's plenty of rapists who are born and raised right here. Yeah, this one wasn't. This didn't need to happen. We don't need other people's rapists as well as our own. We don't need that. And so this thing's a mess. And I think you're right. It's even worse than if it hadn't happened at all. Despicable.
Oh, yeah.
Despicable.
Because now it shows the complete lack of compassion for the actual 10-year-old.
They don't care.
They were using this 10-year-old. They didn't care. They tried to make it look like, oh my gosh, they were so compassionate. Oh, think about this 10-year-old. As Joe Biden said, can you imagine being that 10-year-old? Can you imagine being that 10-year-old and realize that your continued rape was used by the president, and they did nothing. They did nothing. They sent you across state lines to have a procedure done that should have, could have been done in Ohio. The author of the book, Believe Evidence, and investigative journalist for PJ Media, Megan Fox, joins us now. Megan is really the woman that took it upon herself to find out the story of this 10-year-old victim of rape that at first we thought might be a hoax. That would have been a dream come true if our president were only lying about it. As she found out, the story is much, much darker. Welcome to the program. Hi, Megan.
Hi, Glenn. What a fun surprise to hear from you this morning. Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, thank you so much for the hard work and this had to be agonizing, confusing, and at the end, just depressing on what has gone on in the state of Ohio with this poor 10-year-old girl.
Yeah, it has been, and in fact, I had no idea that this story was as huge as it really is. It would have been much better had they been making it up. My brain didn't even go to they're really using a real victim to push a pro-Roe agenda. I didn't even go there because that was too awful to consider. And yet here we are. And what I discovered when I saw this poorly vetted story in the Indianapolis Star was there's something else here. No one cares about a rapist who's on the loose, apparently, in Ohio. And why aren't we asking those questions? Why aren't we asking who raped this child and can we get him prosecuted? Can we get him arrested? And you know what really bothers me and what question is still out there, top of my list is, well, there's two. One, why did the police in Columbus tell the Washington Post's Glenn Kessler there was no report? They also told the Attorney General there was no report. So then the Attorney General goes on Fox News on Monday and says, I can't find a report. And on Tuesday, they have an arrest? There was a report, Glenn. It was put in on June 22nd. So who was keeping it from the press and the Attorney General?
So wait, oh my gosh, this is even deeper now. So now we think not only was the doctor violating HIPAA, lying to the child and saying you have to go to another state and unnecessarily sending him to another state. Did the doctor report the crime? And if so, then the police investigated but didn't arrest the guy, and the police are involved in the cover-up?
Well, I don't know. We can't get answers from the police, Glenn. They won't talk. So I put in a FOIA last week to the Columbus police asking for this very case. Do you have an investigation that involves a 10-year-old being raped? They did not respond to me, but Glenn Kessler got him on the phone, and they told him no. The Attorney General Yost of Ohio, asked around to all his prosecutors and sheriffs. They told him there was no report. And then now we have the report. I have it on my desk. And the police had this since June 22, June 22nd. So they knew about this rape and didn't arrest this guy until the 12th, after the Fox News blitz. I just find the timing highly suspicious, and I want to know how the investigation went, and that's what I'm still digging into. Now, I don't know if Caitlin Bernard, I don't know if she reported to the Indianapolis police her mandated report. That's another FOIA that I have that's waiting to be returned by Indiana government. And so they haven't confirmed that. Maybe she did. It appears, according to the investigation, that she cooperated in some way because they did get the fetal remains for DNA testing. So that means she had to have either been given a warrant for that or she voluntarily provided it. I don't know. She won't answer my questions. When I asked her about these directly yesterday, she sent me a link to the Columbus Dispatch article that just details the arrest of this guy. She still won't answer directly what role she had in helping this investigation or not.
Who gave this story to the left?
That is a very good question. And I also have questions about why the only reporter in the courtroom yesterday for the arraignment of the illegal alien who raped this child more than once and impregnated her was a reporter from a Gannett Corporation media conglomerate. That's the same conglomerate that owns the Indianapolis Star. Why are they the only people who have any access to any of this information? And when the Washington Post tried to reach out to get them to corroborate their story, they said that their reporting was clear. But it wasn't clear. They had a one-sourced story with no backing documentation, no mention of a police report, and now the only reporter that was tipped off to the courtroom proceeding yesterday was somebody at their company. That's interesting.
Megan, boy, this is a story that when you're done with, you should get a Pulitzer. You won't, but you should get a Pulitzer for. When you're looking at this story, first of all, did the girl cross state lines into Indiana? She did, to have that abortion, correct?
Yes, and we need to know why, because Ohio would have allowed that abortion. I've read the law. I have had it confirmed by Ohio legal analysts. The Attorney General himself has confirmed it. The emergency section of the law specifically says that the physician can make a good faith judgment on his life and safety, health and safety in an emergency situation, and this clearly would fall under that category. So we need to know why
Correct.
she was taken from Ohio to Indiana. Was it for the story? That's my guess. My guess is, and this is just a guess. This is what journalists do.
Sure.
I'm getting a lot of flack. For, oh, you thought it was a hoax. It is a hoax. There's something wrong here. And if you can't see it, I'm trying to point it out. This whole thing, the story was not that Roe was somehow causing little girls to be denied abortions, because she would never have been denied an abortion in Ohio. The story is that illegal aliens are raping kids, and all the left cares about is that they can get abortions. That's insane.
So we know that this doctor that the girl apparently went to first, she's an activist, an abortion activist, right?
Actually, she's the second doctor. We don't know who the first doctor is. Suppose the girl went to a doctor in Ohio. There was a consultation that happened in Ohio after the police were informed. So the police get informed on the 22nd. The family takes the child to a Ohio doctor around the 28th or 29th. That doctor consults with the family and then calls Dr. Bernard. But we don't know who that doctor is. They won't release the name. So I also can't check to see if that doctor made a mandated report. It doesn't matter, I don't think, if the police are already aware. That doctor still has to make a report. She called Caitlin Bernard,
Correct.
Or he, I don't know who the doctor is, called Caitlin Bernard. Bernard then arranged for the child to come to Indianapolis, have the abortion there. The police were then given or obtained somehow, because it's not clear how, the DNA from the fetal remains. Then they're now checking that with the arrestee who they say confessed, and they're checking that against him and also the siblings. I guess they're just trying to rule out the siblings. I can't figure out why they would test it against the siblings unless they just want to rule it out.
We also have a situation that seemed pretty fuzzy yesterday, where the guy who was arrested, his attorney said he does have a place where he could live away from the victim. So was he living with the victim up until yesterday, day before?
Yeah, that hasn't been confirmed, but it sure sounds like it. Because if during the court proceeding, the attorney is saying to the judge, there is somewhere you should let him out on bond because we can put him somewhere where he's not with the child, does seem to suggest that he was living in the same house. I don't know. Maybe it was an apartment.
Wait. Wait a minute. Hold it. I need to understand this. The police were notified that there had been a rape of a 10-year-old. She goes across state lines. She has an abortion. It is reported by the president in a campaign to say how evil the Supreme Court is. At the same time he's doing that, the police have not arrested a guy, in fact, released him back possibly into the same home with the 10-year-old victim. Do I have that right?
Yes. Now, let's also say this, though. Here's one more detail that was in the court records. Let's give the police the benefit of the doubt that they did not know who the rapist was on the 22nd. The details of the report say that on July 6th is when the child told the police that this is the person who did it. So we don't know if anybody else told them before July 6th, but the child told them on July 6th. But that still leaves 6 whole days when there was not an arrest after the police knew that this was the rapist. So there are questions here, Glenn, questions that should be answered, questions the press should have asked in the beginning. This was never about can a 10-year-old get an abortion. It is about who raped a 10-year-old child, for God's sake. Why do I have to do this work, Glenn, for the media? Why do I have to say, me, an independent journalist out here who nobody returns my phone calls? You know, when the Washington Post calls the Columbus police, they pick up the phone. They don't do that for me. So, you know, people like ABC and NBC and Indianapolis Star, they have so much more clout with getting answers than I do. I'm out here struggling on my own to try and get these answers. I did force the media to remember what their job is. I reminded them that they did no legwork on this story. And as soon as they figured out that they were being embarrassed on a national stage, they suddenly did their job. And guess what happened? Now there's a rapist behind bars. That's what should have happened in the very first reporting of this story.
It should have happened before the girl had an abortion, even. I mean, that would seem to me to be the priority. Stop the rapist. Now, make sure the girl is safe, and then let's carry out the procedure, the abortion, on this 10-year-old. I mean, it's insane. Will you do me a favor, Megan? I'm kind of well known in Ohio. If you don't get somebody returning your phone calls, will you let me know? Because I can guarantee you they will return your phone calls if they know I'm about to explain to all of Ohio and America who's not picking up their phone. Would you
it's the Columbus
allow
police
me to help
right
you
now.
with that?
It's the Columbus police
Columbus
right now. They won't
police.
respond to my FOIAs.
Who won't respond to your FOIA? Wow, that's interesting. Who is it that you're dealing with there?
Well, they just make you send an email to their, it's like a request email line. It's no particular person. Mm-hmm. And it goes to the public records officer or whatever. But so far.
Will you do me a favor? Give me the name of the public records officer and get me the name of the chief of police. And we'll make sure somebody is returning your phone call. Will you do that for me?
I appreciate that.
Hang up the phone.
I will. But one more thing. Columbus, this is very important. Yep. Columbus is a sanctuary city. Is this problem with the police not communicating and the arrests not being made until this huge national, blitz went on? Is that because they weren't going to do anything about this because they couldn't hold a guy because they don't honor ICE holds because it's a sanctuary city? There's a much bigger story here, Glenn, and I would love your help getting to the bottom of it because I need all the help I can get.
You do anything you need from me, you have, and I don't need to. Whatever I can do, off air, on air, to help, you'll get to the bottom of the story. You will. Don't give up.
I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Megan. You bet. Thank you. And thank you, everybody at PJ Media, for the fine work that they're doing there. That's Megan Fox and Columbus Police. You're on notice. I think we have a few Ohio listeners that would like to know what the hell is going on in their own community. And you might want to, I'll give you some people to call here shortly, but you might, if you're listening and you're in Columbus and you work for the police, you might want to call and say, hey, we should call Megan Fox back before just whoop-ass is opened up.
If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to our channel so you'll be sure to see similar videos from BlazeTV with the added bonus of signaling YouTube that your voice and opinion still matters. And if you're looking for more great conservative content, check out one of the 2 videos suggested here.